How many times have you lain awake at night, staring at the ceiling with your eyes wide open, while the clock reads just after 2 a.m.? Have you recently felt that even though you go to bed early, you still can't sleep as well as you did when you were younger? And you wonder, is this an inevitable thing when we turn 70? I know that feeling very well, because I am at your age, and I have also experienced long nights just waiting for the morning to come. There was a time when I thought I had some serious illness. But it turns out, insomnia in old age is not so unusual. However, that doesn't mean we have to accept it as an inevitable part of aging. On the contrary, if we understand the cause, there are still ways to improve it, so that each night of going to bed is no longer a battle, but a time of relaxation and recovery in the true sense. Old age brings many changes, from the body, psychology to the living environment. Sleep is one of the most obvious changes, but also the most overlooked. People often think, when you're old, it's okay to sleep less. But is that true? Experts from the University of California at San Francisco conducted a study with more than 5,000 people over the age of 65. The results showed that more than 50% of the participants had difficulty falling asleep, had prolonged insomnia, or had light sleep. However, only about 20% of them actively sought to find out the cause and how to improve it. That means most of us are living with a problem that can be completely improved if only we start by finding out why. So what makes sleep more difficult when we enter our 70s? In this video, I want to talk openly with you, without theory, without scares, but honestly share about the real reasons that are stealing our sleep, from biological changes in the body to seemingly harmless habits in daily life. And of course, I will not let you stop at understanding the problem, but also want to explore with you gentle, safe, drug-free solutions that can still significantly improve the quality of sleep. Watch this video until the end, because I am sure that the most valuable thing, the most important solution, will be at the end, where you can really feel, it turns out that with just a little change, I can sleep well again. Now, let's start to find out the first cause together, a reason that most people experience but few realize. It is the natural decline of the hormone melatonin in the body. You know, melatonin is a hormone secreted by the pineal gland in the brain, acting as a biological clock that signals the body when it is time to sleep. In young people, melatonin is produced strongly at night, helping the body quickly fall asleep and maintain deep sleep. But when we enter our 60s and 70s, the ability to secrete melatonin decreases significantly. That is why many people, even though they have turned off the lights and are lying still, are still wide awake, because the body no longer receives a strong signal that it is time to sleep. Interestingly, scientists at the American Institute of Sleep Medicine have discovered that just a 20% decrease in melatonin in the blood is enough to cause an older person to lose nearly 40 minutes of sleep each night. Every week like that, you have lost nearly 5 hours of sleep, equivalent to a sleepless night. So, is there a way to support the natural production of melatonin without having to use drugs? The answer is yes, and it comes from light. When we are exposed to natural light in the morning, especially between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., our bodies reset our biological clocks, increasing melatonin production in the evening. On the other hand, if we stay indoors all day, don't get enough light, or are exposed to too much artificial light at night, such as light from our phone or TV screens, our bodies will get confused about the time and stop secreting melatonin at the right time. Something as simple as stepping out onto your porch in the morning, taking a few deep breaths and looking towards the sunlight, that's a great start to your night's sleep. You don't need to do much, just give your body the right signal, and you'll find that sleep comes more easily. Moving on to the second cause, this is certainly something that many of us are experiencing, and sometimes we don't even notice, waking up many times during the night to urinate. When we pass the age of 70, our excretory system changes. The bladder can no longer hold as much water as before, and the urge to urinate is also more sensitive. Even a small amount of water can wake us up in the middle of the night. And once we wake up, especially in a quiet, dimly lit environment, it is very difficult for the body to return to a deep sleep like before. Some people say, then don't drink water at night. But in fact, not drinking water can lead to mild dehydration, making it harder to sleep because of dry mouth, rapid heartbeat, and even increasing the risk of stroke in the elderly. So what is the solution? Try adjusting the time of drinking water. Drink enough water during the day, especially before 6 p.m., and gradually reduce the amount of water after 7 p.m. If possible, limit your intake of tea, coffee, or diuretics from the afternoon onwards. And a little tip that I have applied very effectively: use a pillow to reduce pressure on the bladder when lying down. Just by changing that, I have significantly reduced the number of times I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. We have talked about the first two causes, melatonin decline and excretion problems. But there is another very common cause, often overlooked, which is anxiety and thinking too much before going to sleep. Many times I lie in bed, my mind spinning with past and future events, from my own health, to my children and grandchildren, and even nameless things like, I wonder if it will rain tomorrow? Old age often brings with it contemplation, and when we are no longer as busy as before, our minds have more free space to worry. And unfortunately, the brain can't tell the difference between what's worth worrying about and what's past. It just keeps working, preventing us from relaxing enough to sleep. Modern psychology calls this nighttime brain syndrome. A study at Harvard University has shown that older people who regularly experience mild anxiety before bed take twice as long to fall asleep as normal people, up to 45 minutes on average. And sleep, when it comes late, is often shallow and easy to wake up. If you've ever felt like this, try a simple but effective thing: write down the things that worry you before going to bed. Just write them down, no need to find a solution. It helps your brain release information and helps you feel like you've lifted a burden off your mind. In addition, some of my friends have tried listening to meditation music or the sound of light rain before going to bed, and they say, after just a few days, they've seen a noticeable difference. Have you ever wondered if the pills you take every day are also secretly stealing your sleep? Stay with me, we will continue together in the next part of this conversation. And if you find what I shared in this part true for you, or have your own story about sleep to tell, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I would love to read and share more with you. We will continue to explore more seemingly small factors that can secretly disrupt your sleep, and especially a cause that I believe many people have never thought of: the side effects of the drugs you take every day. That's right. As we age, taking medication becomes a regular thing: blood pressure medication, heart medication, diabetes medication, joint medication, etc. Each pill has a clear purpose, but sometimes they affect our sleep without us knowing it. A study at the U.S. National Institute on Aging found that more than 30% of older adults have sleep disorders due to side effects of medications, especially diuretics, anti-inflammatory corticosteroids, Parkinson's medications, and some antidepressants. I have a friend who is 74 years old. He once complained to me that he had been having insomnia for a long time, waking up after an hour of sleep and then not being able to fall asleep again. At first, he thought it was because of old age or because he was worried too much. But after reviewing all his prescriptions with his daughter, he discovered that the main cause was the diuretic pill he took at night. This drug increased urine output, causing him to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. By simply changing the time of taking the medicine to the morning as advised by the doctor, his sleep improved significantly. That shows that sometimes it is not that our body is old and weak, but we just need to adjust the way we take care of ourselves a little. And most importantly, do not stop taking the medicine on your own, but talk to your doctor or pharmacist when you see that your sleep is affected. They can advise you on how to change the time of taking the medicine or change to a more suitable equivalent medicine. In addition to medication, there is another factor that is often overlooked but has a big impact on the quality of your sleep: your bed. You may laugh, I've been sleeping on this bed for more than 10 years, I'm used to it. But that's the problem. Over time, the mattress flattens, the springs weaken, or the fabric retains heat, making your back hot and sweaty at night. Even the creaking sound when turning over is enough to wake up a light sleeper like us. We don't need to buy a new bed right away, but a new, soft, and elastic mattress, or a thin mattress cover made from a cool and breathable material like cotton or bamboo, can make a difference. Especially if you often have back pain or stiff shoulders when you wake up, then it's very possible that the problem is not your back but the bed you're sleeping on. Also, have you ever paid attention to the temperature of the room when you sleep? The older you get, the less able you are to regulate your body temperature. Many older people often cover themselves with too many blankets in the cold season, or turn on the air conditioner too high in the hot season, leading to restless sleep and easy waking. Research from the American Sleep Science Institute shows that the ideal temperature for older people to have deep sleep is around 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. If it's hot, instead of turning on the air conditioner too high, you can use a fan combined with open windows to let the air circulate. If it's cold, just cover yourself with a thin, warm blanket, instead of using a blanket that's too heavy, causing stuffiness and difficulty breathing. Another small detail, but extremely useful, the light in the bedroom. Many older people leave the night light on all night for fear of tripping and falling if they have to wake up in the middle of the night, which is completely understandable. However, light, even dim light, also affects the production of melatonin and prevents the brain from fully entering a state of rest. A compromise solution is to use a night light with a motion sensor. When you move, the light turns on, otherwise, the room is completely dark, helping you sleep more deeply. And next, I want to talk about a reason, also the deepest reason, that is the feeling of loneliness. Sounds strange, right? But in fact, many older people have trouble sleeping not because of physical problems, but because their souls are quietly sad. When they get old, the pace of life slows down, children are busy, friends are less seen, relatives gradually disappear, all of which create a void in the heart. And at night, when everything around is quiet, that is when the sadness and emotions that were suppressed during the day rise most clearly. That is also the time when sleep becomes more fragile than ever. I remember an aunt living in the same neighborhood. Every time she met me she said, "Every night I feel sad, but I don't know why I'm sad." Actually, that sadness is the voice of the heart that needs to be heard, needs to be connected. An afternoon walk with a neighbor, a video call with a grandchild, a visit to a senior club, all can provide just enough warmth to soothe the soul, so that when night falls, we feel less alone. You see, sleep at 70 is not just a matter of closing your eyes and hoping. It is a delicate journey, connecting the physical, the mental, and the emotional. And each of the causes of insomnia we have just mentioned, from medication, to bedding, to light, to temperature, to loneliness, can be listened to, adjusted, and healed. In the final part, I want to invite you to take another important step, building a new sleep routine, gentle, regular, but strong enough to help your body learn how to sleep well again. You don't need to do anything big, just a few small changes in the hour before bed. You will be surprised to see sleep return to you like an old friend you haven't seen for a long time. No need for drugs, no special tools, just you with patience and self-love. And if you find this sharing useful, share it with your relatives and friends. Who knows, you will help someone sleep well again, just with a sentence. The journey to find a full, peaceful sleep at the age of 70 continues with something equally important, that is, how to proactively rebuild the biological rhythm of sleep, with a few small changes in your own evening routine. Many people think that sleep is an unconscious thing, whether it comes or not depends on how tired your body is that day. But in fact, sleep is something you can prepare for. And prepare for early. There is an image I really like. Imagine you are leading your body into a quiet garden. But to get there, you have to go through a path. If that path is full of noise, bright lights, strong smells, confusing emotions, then it is difficult for you to reach that garden smoothly. That path is the time 1 hour before you go to bed. And the first thing I want to mention is, give your body the signal that it's time to rest. Instead of watching TV late at night or scrolling on your phone in bright blue light, you can start turning off your electronic devices from 8 p.m. The blue light from the screen tricks your brain into thinking it is still daylight, and therefore, does not secrete enough melatonin to induce sleep. Instead, turn on a warm yellow night light, listen to some soft music, or simply sit still, close your eyes, and breathe deeply for a few minutes. This quiet moment is the bridge between day and night, between wakefulness and sleep. Next, if you often toss and turn when lying down, I have a very easy way to do it. Write down the things that worry you on a piece of paper. That's right, instead of letting your mind keep all the things that have not been done, worries about children, money, or illness, write them down. A simple list: call tomorrow to make an appointment, remember to remind your child to bring a raincoat. Haven't paid the electricity bill yet. Writing it down like this helps your mind lighten the burden and reassures you that tomorrow morning I will remember. This way, you don't have to stay awake for fear of forgetting something important. Another thing I would suggest, and this one is probably best for older people, is to stick to a consistent bedtime routine every night, including weekends. Your body has its own biological clock, and it works best when you keep it on a schedule. Try going to bed at 9 p.m., waking up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. every day, consistently, and you'll feel your body slowly relearn how to fall asleep without forcing it. Just like children, they sleep best when they have a regular bedtime and a familiar bedtime ritual, and we adults are no different. Some of my friends have a fun bedtime ritual. One makes a cup of warm chamomile tea, another rubs a tiny bottle of lavender oil on their hands, another sits in an armchair reading a few pages of an old paperback book. Small things, repeated every night, create a gentle signal to the body. Now is the time to slow down, to rest. Oh, and if you've ever woken up in the middle of the night, I know the feeling, opening your eyes, looking at the clock, seeing it's 2 a.m., and then worrying when will I be able to fall asleep again. In those moments, instead of trying to lie down with your eyes closed in the hope of falling asleep again, gently sit up, drink some water, walk around a few steps, then lie down and breathe deeply. Some people even count backwards from 100 to 0, counting a number each time you exhale. This helps your brain stay lightly occupied, not caught up in thoughts. In particular, if you still can't fall asleep after 20 to 30 minutes, get out of bed and sit somewhere else, under dim lights, listening to relaxing music until you feel sleepy again. Lying in bed for too long will cause your brain to associate the bed with the feeling of difficulty falling asleep, making you anxious the next time you lie down. Let the bed be a place reserved for sleep and love. We have come a long way together to understand that sleep at 70 is not just a matter of closing your eyes. It is the result of a process of taking care of your body, understanding your mind, and caring for yourself sincerely. Wherever you are, whether you are going through a peaceful period or struggling with sleepless nights, remember, as long as you start, change will come. Slow is okay, as long as you don't give up. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are many people your age who are learning together to love themselves, take care of their sleep, and live their years after 70 to the fullest. And I believe, if you are still here, listening, you are the one who is ready to take the next step, step by step, night by night, to receive the peaceful sleep you deserve. I know, you may still have questions, concerns that you haven't had time to express, so don't be shy, share them with me in the comments section below. Your confession may be something that someone else needs to hear. And if you feel that this video brings you something useful, a knowledge, a reminder, or simply the feeling of being listened to, then please click like the video to support. If you want to continue to receive more gentle, close sharing like this about health and life after 60, don't forget to click subscribe to the channel. Remember to click the little bell next to it so that we can meet again next time without missing the appointment. Thank you for staying with me until this moment. I wish you a good night's sleep, a gentle tomorrow, and a life full of peace. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.